Hello YouTube, Wolf Leader 93 here with a movie review on James Cameron's Avatar. Alright, so let's get started. I'm actually reading from a review I wrote, so listen. On Saturday, December 26, 2009, I had the pleasure of watching James Cameron's Avatar. I want to first say that to finally see this movie was no disappointment at all. Movie critics were definitely right. I and a lot of other movie fans have been waiting a long time to see a film like this. See, the movie industry doesn't get as much good, hard-working movie directors like Avatars. James Cameron, one of the greatest movie filmmakers of all time, the director of Aliens, True Lies, Terminator, Terminator 2, and director to what was known to some as the best movie of all time, Titanic. Some say he spends way too much of his own money to make a film. I sure think so. But I also commend it as well. Every movie that he has made has been extremely high-grossing films, all due to his use of money, hard work, imagination, and vision. Now Cameron has introduced us to his new film. When I first saw a teaser poster, I really didn't know what it was. All I knew was a new James Cameron film. Since it was his work, I was immediately interested. Before the movie came out, I was hearing about it in the most profound way. Everything I heard about the film was about its special effects. Now I've heard of that before, but not like this. I heard they did new things that have never been done before, and it was beyond anything I've ever seen. Not to mention the fact that Avatar was filmed in 3D cameras. That was good to hear, but also made me worry a little. That is all I was hearing about it. I thought to myself, I hope the effects aren't the only thing that made this movie good, but gladly that wasn't the case. Avatar was much more than that. When I saw it by the end of the film, I was literally in tears. I was just so thrown back by the movie. If James Cameron made Titanic, the film to be known as the best movie of all time, then James Cameron's Avatar must take its place. I want to say that now I have seen this film, in all my 16 years of watching movies, Avatar was the most amazing film I've ever seen. Not just because of its special effects or 3D, but because of the beauty and mentality of the film. First off, Avatar's visual beauty could not have been done without the greatest special effects department of all time, in my opinion, that is George Lucas's Industrial Light and Magic. Ever since 1977, ILM has wowed audiences all around the world, from Star Wars to Transformers to Avatar. The detail from ILM is what amazes me. Detail right down to the smallest gear in Optimus Prime's transformation to the slightest imperfection or shadow on a CGI character. Every detail in Avatar, I believe, was completely flawless. The movie takes place on a moon known as Pandora. On Pandora lives a population of humanoids known as the Na'vi. The Na'vi are much like humans, but about 9 to 10 feet tall, have skin almost like a light blue poison dart frog, have dark blue stripes like a tiger's, flat cat-like noses, sharp fangs, large yellow cat-like eyes, bioluminescence on their bodies like a deep-sea anglerfish, long black hair, and a long tail as well. I absolutely love their design. I thank Stan Winston Studios for that. The way the Na'vi look on screen is flawless as everything else. It was the most real CGI I've ever seen, and if I didn't know better, I'd say it was real. For Pandora, the only thing on Earth I can really compare its beauty to is Hawaii, and Hawaii is not even close to it. James Cameron took Earth and perfected it. During the day, the plant life can be compared to vibrant colored coral reefs and the most beautiful flowers on Earth. But during the night, every plant glows with bioluminescence. Pandora is something you'll never forget. The other life besides the Na'vi are the animals on Pandora. The designs for them were extremely imaginative. Although the combination of different animals while maintaining a tree frog's skin look is a simple idea, but it was made into something original and artful. You have to journey into a world that amazes you and leaves you breathless. is something that James Cameron definitely achieved. The story, as well as the characters, is what brings it all together, though. It may not be original, but it's definitely a whole new vision. All the characters of Avatar had a lot of emotion put into them. The story starts with the main character, Jake Sully. Jake is a paralyzed man from the waist down who doesn't care what other people think and wants to prove that he could do anything. By filling his twin brother's shoes, he who had died earlier, Jake takes his brother's avatar. These avatars are artificial bodies grown by the DNA of the Na'vi and the DNA of a human that controls them, giving the avatar the facial features of the controller while the rest of the body is mostly Na'vi. In the movie, the driver goes into a chamber and connects his mind to the avatars. The driver's mind then enters the other body and then can control it. Since Jake is a twin, he has the same DNA as his brothers, giving him the ability to control his brother's avatar. After getting used to his new body and legs, Jake is given a mission by the army general to become one of the Na'vi in order to gain their trust. After, he must try to convince the Na'vi to move away from their home so the army, without harming the indigenous, can take what is beneath their home. A huge mineral deposit worth 20 million a kilo. But the land is so sacred to the Na'vi it won't be easy to convince them to leave. Led by Grace Augustine, the head scientist of the Avatar program, Jake is sent on a simple study mission with Grace and another Avatar driver. He then explores around and ends up getting attacked by a six-legged reptilian panther-like creature called the Thanator. After he jumps into a lake, escaping the angry Thanator, he gets lost, and during the night gets attacked by wolf-like creatures appropriately called viper wolves, but is soon rescued by Neytiri, the Na'vi's princess. Although she is reluctant to kill the wildlife, her reasons for saving him are because he has a strong heart. No fear, as quoted by her. After she saves him, she receives a sign by the tree spirits to lead him to her tribe and let him know if he can be taught their ways, or be killed. Luckily for him, he gets accepted, and Neytiri is chosen to teach him. Although she is reluctant to do so, she obeys. Neytiri is a very fierce warrior. She is also very humble, wise, and loving to the Force to a point where it is inspiring. Wherever the story goes from there, I can only tell you one thing. It gets very emotional and powerful. I want to mention one thing that most inspired me, and that was the way they would connect to the forest. That is ingenious. Last but not least, the music for the film was great. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Whoops. Okay, let me repeat that. I want to mention the one thing that most inspired me, and that was the connection the Na'vi have to the forest. Their spiritual bond with all the life on Pandora is amazing, and the way they would connect to the forest is ingenious. Last but not least, the music for the film was great. James Horner, one of the greatest music composers, has again lent his talent to a movie that truly means something. The music sets the mood for every scene and is as powerful as the movie itself. I already own the soundtrack. James Horner definitely has the gift of seeing emotion through music, and that's what he did in Avatar. In conclusion, this movie was a powerful visionary experience, a movie with emotion, action, feeling, and above all, heart. This has now become my most favorite movie. An absolutely wonderful film that will change the movie industry forever and will forever define what movies can truly achieve. This is a film that will always be remembered. 20th Century Fox presents James Cameron's Avatar. Okay, so that was my review, and I really hope you enjoyed it. And for all you guys who hate the movie Avatar, get over yourselves. I will speak to you later, and goodbye, YouTube.